1A, as of Monday, April 30th, the cash balance in the operating account is $280,215. From this amount, there'll be a $165,000 deduction for tomorrow's payroll and a $115 deduction for accounts payable payments through May 10th. The cash balance in the money market account remains at $750,064. Based on comments from the last meeting regarding the accounts payable, Mr. Cooper informed me that, and I quote, Weems has a total of $1.367 million in liabilities. However, all but $85,000, I guess which is now $115,000, rests with TMH and the Healthcare Trust Fund, end quote. The March 2018 financial report is part of the Weems Board of Directors regular meeting agenda packet that is included in your agenda packet. I actually made copies for you and I have it as part of my electronic file. Item 1B, as directed at the last meeting, I contacted Sacred Heart's president, Mr. Roger Hall, to discuss their proposal further. The following 4 items were the main part of our discussion. The need for an emergency department, or emergency room as some say, not an urgent care center offering emergency services. I'll stop right there. The reason for that, commissioners, is if there's a 911 call, the ambulance cannot respond to urgent care center. They must respond to the closest emergency room. The next thing we discussed was approximately how much of the healthcare surtax will Sacred Heart expect in this agreement, and how will ownership of the new facility be transferred from the developer to Franklin County? And finally, how many and what type of local jobs will be lost versus the jobs that will be created by their proposal. So he's working on, Mr. Hall and the staff are researching these questions, and we'll send the county a response within the next couple of weeks. So that's where we are with that, waiting for that response. Item 1C, the Board of Directors at their Thursday, April 26th regular meeting, the Weems Board of Directors, reviewed the proposal sent by Tallahassee Memorial. They asked that I request more specific information regarding adding a primary care doctor, support with Weems management, especially solutions for some of the deficiencies found in the operational assessment, and assistance with moving forward with the construction of the new facility. The Weems Board of Directors would like TMH to consider providing these services and assistance prior to the February 29th when Alliant would be available to become an active partner. Before I contact TMH, is there any other concerns or questions this board would like to include in that request?
Michael, I read over the proposal, TMH proposal, and it's very broad and there's not specific at all. Having said that, I think a lot of the Sacred Heart initial proposal was the same way, which is why you're having to go back and ask all these specific questions.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, it's not really a whole lot different than what Sacred Heart provided us as a 2-page summary or
format,
whatever you want to call it. But I couldn't make heads or tails out of TMH and what they were actually proposing because it was just so broad and non-specific. So
Okay.
I agree with the Weems Board. We need more specifics about what they're doing. The difference in the two of these proposals, as I see them, is one supports the hospital and one don't. Those are the two main differences.
Yes.
In what the proposal entails. As far as I know, I've been under the impression that they want quite a bit of the surtax to take care of the indigent, and then if they build the building, speaking of Sacred Heart, and if they build a building in the county, we'll have to pay the payments on that building.
At least, yes, sir.
You know, it just seems like you're giving away your whole surtax each year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's without having the specifics that you've asked for. So, I mean, we just need to, and the reason I voted against the proposal to negotiate with Sacred Heart last time is because we knew TMH was going to present a proposal, and what does that entail? So, that's my take on the two different proposals that have been submitted. Comments from the board?
I'd like to see them also answer the question about loss of jobs. Because if and when they become the at-risk partner, there's no guarantee of what's going to take place. They're gonna send.
Oh,
Rich.
TMH you're referring to, okay, so if there will be,
If one's having an answer, the other one should.
oh, so you're wondering if TMH will have any
Yep.
loss of jobs or any creation of new jobs?
sir.
Okay, all right.
So you're basically asking the same questions
Questions.
of both
I
the
got it, yes, sir.
proposals,
Yeah,
Okay.
so that you got the information to make an informed decision.
yes, sir.
I like to see both sides to it. Get an answer from both of them. I want it detailed, not, I want it real detailed so we can know what's going on. Don't tell us part of it, then gonna fix it later on, or we wanna know everything in the beginning. I wanna know I really wanna know the side of what it'll be with the hospital, or what it'll be with the emergency room and the other thing.
The outpatient clinic is what
Yeah.
you're basically saying, the medical center.
I need to know the difference between them.
Okay.
That way, we need to know all these things so we can make a firm decision. I mean, don't hear just they decide what's gonna be good for them. I want what's good for Franklin County.
I think we all do, Commissioner. I think we all do.
Yeah, I do.
Michael,
Yes, ma'am.
my question is, on here, you've got where the Board of Directors would like to, TMH to consider providing these services and assistance prior to February of 2019.
Yes.
If you look at what they proposed, it was as of February 2019.
Yes.
So that, to me, is important, because what they're looking at is, they talk about Alliant and all that. Well, everybody knows that the person with Alliant has got a no compete clause in his contract. And so that's what they're waiting for. So, you know, my thing is to make sure that you do find out if they can provide these services and prior to February of 2019
Yes, ma'am.
is one of them. I got some other things, but we'll let him go on down the line. And
What is their problem with running with the ambulance, trying to figure out what they're gonna do with the ambulance?
You talking about Sacred Heart?
Sacred Heart and TMH, to keep the ambulance running, is that the
Well,
problem?
With the TMH proposal, if we go back to what we think we know, is basically we're still gonna move forward with the building of micro hospital. So, which will include an emergency department, so the ambulance can respond there. With Sacred Heart, as it stands right now with their proposal, the ambulance will have to go either to St. Joe or to Tallahassee. I'm not even sure if Wakulla County has an emergency department anywhere. I don't think
They
they
don't
do.
have.
So, I mean, we're talking, okay, let's talk to the worst case scenario. Let's take someone at either end of St. George Island has a 911 call. That's a long way, commissioners. Either which way is a long way. We can't have that. We cannot have our 911 calls leaving this county. I'm sorry, no, it's not gonna work.
Well,
So, I'm sorry, I was trying to answer Commissioner Massey. So that's the problem, the ambulance cannot take a 911 call and go to an urgent care center. They can't do that, so that's the problem. That answers your question, Commissioner.
yeah.
another thing you got to look at is waiting on Alliance, this person from Alliance. What if it come up to, at the end, Alliance and that other thing, what we just turned down and said we wasn't gonna communicate with them no more. Them people in the business to make money and they proposed, his proposal be about like that.
So you're saying you don't want another management agreement? Basically, when a line comes in, you want it to be a takeover at risk?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm hearing
Ain't
from you?
nobody-
Anybody, whoever comes in, we want to
Yeah,
take.
we want to
care
take
of
over that
at-risk
management
stuff.
at risk. I mean, that ain't nothing but they looking out for their pocket.
They all looking at this tax money we got right to start with, what they're doing. They're trying to get it and have no risk at all and give it all to us and want our money.
Well,
And then it'll be, you be done waited 19, a year and a half and for nothing. When you can be done, got somebody who could be for risk. and you can be working the problem out.
Yeah.
It got to be done. We don't need nobody to come in here and make them money.
Okay.
Well, and my perception of reading this proposal that TMH sent us is no different than what they sent us back when we were talking about CHC. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So there's nothing else different with this contract or this proposal as it was the proposal before. That's our problem. We want somebody to take the risk. This board does not need to be in the healthcare business. And we're trying to get somebody in here to take care of it that we have confidence that will do right, do the right thing, make money, and take care of our people. Number one, take care of our people. And that's what we're into. Don't y'all think so? And I don't care if it's Mayo Clinic, Moffitt, or whoever. Whoever comes in here to do right by the people, that's who I want. That's who I want. So, I'm just going there. So, I don't care if it's,
You making notes, Michael?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you taking notes.
Yes, sir.
but, I mean, that, what I'm saying is, I'm not worried about the names of who's, you know, Sacred Heart, TMH, Capital Regional. Just come in here and give us something that will take this board, and this board will have enough confidence in to pull back and let them take care of what they need to take care of our people, and to take the board out of the equation. I mean, the board's always gonna be a part of the equation, but the biggest part, we don't need to.
All right, Mike,
A lot of notes, sir.
move on to the next one, you'll take some more.
Okay, item 1D. At the last meeting, I informed the board that I had some meetings regarding emergency medical services for the county. Commissioner Jones and I met with Mr. Houston Whitfield, Gulf County's EMS director, on April 4th. EMS is a county department in Gulf County with a budget of approximately $1.4 million, which includes a county subsidy of approximately $350,000. Mr. Whitfield discussed the makeup of his staff, full-time versus part-time, scheduling, recruitment, and additional revenue sources. It is very important to state that Gulf County's EMS has been a county department for a very long time, and Mr. Whitfield has been part of that department for a very long time. Transitioning to a county EMS department would not be as simple as stated by others, and would require someone with extensive administrative and management skills to run that department. And I'll yield to Commissioner Jones because he asked a whole lot of questions at that meeting. And, you know, I'm not saying it's impossible, Commissioner, that's not send the wrong message. But just because somebody's a good paramedic or a good EMT does not make them a good administrator, because there's a whole lot to it, a
Yeah.
whole lot to it. And Commissioner Jones, again, I yield to you, sir.
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay, so I'll move on then. So 1E, that should be Mr. Cooper, I'm sorry. Mr. Cooper and I met with Lifeguard EMS on Wednesday, April 18th, to discuss their interest in providing services in the county. Lifeguard EMS is now part of Air Medical Group Holdings, which is associated with Shands Care, as we refer to it as the Lifelight Service. Lifeguard team would like to meet with you to discuss their proposal further. Is the board interested in meeting with the lifeguard team? And by that, I mean individual meetings where they come and sit with you one-on-one and kind of they'll give you their pitch and you guys can ask questions. I really like those meetings, Commissioner, because a lot more is accomplished and you guys get to find out a lot more. Each of you have a different outlook and different questions, which really, then they can come before the board and discuss it, you know, for public matter. It's up to the board.
Mike, there's a lot more to your meeting with these people than what you're actually telling us.
Yes.
There's a lot more to it, such as the fixed wing.
Yes, Lifeguard offers, because of their association with this Air Medical Group Holdings.
Start with Lifeguard has changed ownership.
Yes, it was owned by a couple at one point.
Right.
And it's since been sold to this Air Medical Group Holdings. And now this Air Medical Group Holdings has an interest with Shands Care. They also have an interest with the same service that's provided in Bay County somewhere. Lifeguard now provides, in Bay County, they provide not 911 EMS response service, but transportation service. So I know you see them in Bay County if you're ever. in
But they're not
Panama
responding to
City.
accidents, they're
No,
just,
no, sir, just more transportation.
non-medical emergency
Yeah.
transport.
But they're also in Santa Rosa
Such as
County.
Peter.
I mean, there's a list, but this group, this medical group holding, they have fixed wing airplanes along with helicopters that can respond to the call. So basically, a plane landed at one of the airports, you take someone there and they take it to another airport that's close to a hospital.
Which is way cheaper than the helicopter ride.
Yes, it's cheaper than a
That's
helicopter.
what you've told me.
And I'll tell you what they told us too. They said this is a standard practice, which really impressed me across company-wide. If by chance they pick you up and the paramedic determines you need life flight, they take you out on the life flight. If after they do their quality review and their nurse and their doctor said, this person really didn't need life flight, they will downgrade your bill as if it was a 911 ambulance call. They will not charge you for the life flight.
And we know how much that life flight
Yes,
is. because
that's,
people-
that's pretty impressive.
When people have to get life flighted out and have to
Yeah.
pay all that big money, we get the complaints about it.
And they would all, I'm sorry, Commissioner, go ahead.
So there's a lot to this, and this is not the old lifeguard.
It's not.
That's what I
This is
was
not
trying
yes,
to,
ma'am.
because last time when they made a proposal, you remember, we had this room full of the EMTs, paramedics,
Yeah.
and hospital people, they did not like what was being proposed,
Yeah.
so we need to be
They can
mindful.
also, what they said they would do, they would convert the helicopter that comes here, they would convert it with the floats, which would then allow that helicopter to land directly on St. George Island somewhere.
Where
So-
now they say they can't fly over the water.
They also got a grant, we could talk for quite a while here, but they also got a grant for this new equipment that they actually haven't used yet. So basically, it's part of this telemedicine situation. So they put this new equipment in the ambulance. Once the 911, once they pick you up, the paramedic and the EMT have you in the ambulance and they're rolling, they call the doctor. Basically, it's like a fancy FaceTime. The doctor's there watching what's going on and he's getting all your readings.
Vitals and,
Statistics, yeah, he's getting all that at the time, and he's telling them what they need to do. So basically, our commissioners to the eastern end will understand, the people that are afraid, they hate to come from Carabel to Weems to have to turn back to go to Tallahassee.
Right.
Basically, the emergency room doctor could say, take them straight to Tallahassee.
He'll make that determination.
Right, based
right
on
on the
the-
spot.
See, right now, it's being made out of the emergency room doctor.
Yes, and he has to call,
And
it's a phone call, so he wants them to come in. Versus this new technology would allow him to see what's
That's
going
good.
on in the
That's
ambulance,
good, William.
take that reading and say, "Doc, send him straight to TMH, don't even waste
Yeah.
any time."
Yeah, that's what,
So there's a lot. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, you're right. I'm glad you asked me that question. They're offering a lot, but again, I prefer the one-on-one meetings where you guys could ask a lot more questions to get.
and real quickly, last time we looked at this with lifeguard, we determined that it was too expensive.
Mhm.
I don't really see no downside of talking with them, but you also, Mike, if we decided to go this way, or the board decided to go this way, then you gotta bid this stuff out. So you would have other companies come in and put their proposal too, but
Yeah.
this here would just be giving you an idea of what this company does. It doesn't tell you what other proposals may come in. And if it's too expensive, which is how the hospital got it now,
Yeah.
it's because we asked Mr. Colbert back then to take over the ambulance because it was just too expensive and we couldn't afford it.
that's right.
I got a question for Michael. Is Mr. Cooper helping you on any of this stuff? It seems like me, you doing all the hospital work.
Well, like I said, he met with me where we met with.
I know on that one, but it seems to me you deep in the hospital, or you getting any help? I mean, be honest with me.
Uh, Yeah, well, yeah, to some degree. I mean, yeah, I'll tell you who's very helpful. Your board of directors, your new board of directors is unbelievable.
I ain't talking about the directors. I'm talking about the CEO. It's getting paid all this big money to be doing stuff like this. It seems to me you've been doing the majority of the work for the last year.
Well, that's what you guys told me to do, Commissioner.
I know
So
it.
I'm just doing it. I just
Okay.
do what needs to be done.
In reality, the hospital board is supposed to direct Mr. Cooper what he needs to be doing. They don't work for him. He works for us, but they are our representatives at the hospital. So You gotta have a strong board to direct.
Yes.
Basically, the administrator, which is the same thing we come up with the TDC. It don't matter who the administrator is that's hired at TDC. He operates and carries forward the projects that the TDC board comes up with. That's the same way with your CEO at your hospital, to a certain extent. He's supposed to follow whatever the board asks him to do. He's supposed to do it. If you don't have a strong board, you don't have a strong chairman of the board, that ain't gonna happen.
I think we finally got a strong board now.
We do.
Just started
But
out.
but it takes time
Yeah.
to get it going and, you know, and if the administrator can't follow the direction of the board, then you need a new administrator.
Well, that's what I'm fixing to do right here, because I'm not happy with Mr. Cooper.
But I don't wanna see that happen as a result, close the hospital. I just wanna put
No,
that out there.
no. I'm gonna go ahead because I'm not happy with Mr. Cooper. I know what work you've done that he should have been doing. And he's got a big problem with delegating his work to other people out at that hospital. He needs to be doing it himself. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we ask TMH to terminate his contract within 30 days and to ask TMH to bring someone else in within 30 days to operate this hospital. They
So-
said they would do it, and I wanna do it. Right, Michael?
Yes, ma'am. So you're directing me to contact TMH
TMH.
and say you want a new CEO. Is that
A
what you're
new
saying?
CEO?
But we're not, I want to be very clear. So we're not terminating the TMH contract. We're just asking for a
No,
new CEO.
we want a new CEO. We want them to nullify Mr. Cooper's contract with them and to send another CEO down to Wings.
Second.
Can I ask
Discussion.
our attorney a question about
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
contract? How do you know what the
What the
What the
penalty is?
outlaws are, where we are, yeah.
It's going to be the same one that was paid to Davy Lloyd. It's going to be 6 months of his salary as severance.
Well, that's what we pay attorney fee, that's what we pay
It's
attorney.
basically
fees for.
$75,000.
Contact TMH and tell them that we are dissatisfied. He knows that, Marco Bryant knows that. Mr. Cooper's been walking a thin rope for a long time. And just contact TMH and see if that can happen, and if it can, work it where it happens.
I'd like to ask a question if I can, Mr.
Go ahead.
Attorney Schuler. The
Yes, sir.
original contract that Mr. Cooper signed was a 2-year contract, correct? There was a couple
The
of 2-year
original, there's been
contracts.
several renewals, that's correct.
But-
Technically, he doesn't even have an he has no employment contract with TMH, because I believe I've sent that information out, and if you look at the letter agreement between TMH and Mr. Cooper, it says very clearly it's not an employment contract. Our agreement with TMH is a different contract, and this has been renewed basically verbally on a month-to-month going for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months now. But the termination provision, as I recall it, sitting here this morning, is the same penalty basically for early termination that we paid for Davy Lloyd, which was 6 months of severance, is what I recall. I mean, I'll double check after the meeting and make sure that my recollection is correct, but as I sit here this morning, that is my recollection.
Well,
I guess my
how-
question is, when it changed from a 2-year contract to a month-to-month that Mr. O'Brien signed, did that change the termination provision?
I don't think so. I really don't think so, because
That's what
you're
we need.
renewing that same contract from month to month, and it still has that same provision that keeps getting renewed. We would have to go back and renegotiate the terms of the contract, but
I feel pretty sure though, if Mark O'Brien felt like this board was not happy with his CEO that is down here now, that he would do something about it. He has the power to do it with TMH. We don't have the power. We can just request it, and that's what I'm doing.
Me too. But, look, I don't like that clause, what they getting 6-month pay for, they ain't doing the work. We got to pay them, they don't do the work, and still got to pay them. That don't need to be in there. I don't want that in the next contract. I don't want that, and I don't want the traveling, paying for no travel. If they getting $150,000 a year, if they can't make it down here, get somebody.
well,
My question
Let
on.
let me,
Go ahead.
make sure we're clear on the record. The agreement and these terms are between TMH and their employee. These are not terms that I drafted
I
and
know.
negotiated on y'all's behalf.
But what I'm
Make sure
saying
we're
is-
clear.
But what I'm saying is, why should, no, you ain't, you just like us, Michael, we just got caught up in it. Okay, I'm not, what happened here? We got 10,000 people, 11,000 people in this community, in the county. Tallahassee got 200,000-300,000 people, a couple 150. They can afford that. We shouldn't have never had nothing like that in our contract. We can't pay what Tallahassee pay. We don't have the people. We don't generate the money what Tallahassee generate. Leon County. But why should we be forced to, in something like that? I mean, we shouldn't be, it should go by our community level.
So, when I contact Mr. Mark O'Brien, am I also telling him that the board is not satisfied with these contracts and these, the payouts, et cetera, and the county would
I'm
like
not.
to have, some say through our attorney as to how these contracts are designed? Am I saying that too?
What it basically needs in there is a clause for termination.
Without-
For cause or without cause.
Okay.
In other words, if you're not doing your job, that's for cause. If he's doing his job and we just don't like the way he talks, that's not for cause. You see what I'm saying?
I got you, exactly what you're saying.
Now, my problem, or my question about the motion is, if we want a new CEO to take over the hospital, I think it ought to be an interim
Interim
CEO.
Yeah,
CEO, because
that's
So
right.
if we go with one proposal or the other proposal, they have a way of generating their own CEO or whoever they
Yeah,
think should be
that's
running.
right, that's right.
And not enter into another
Long-term.
CEO clause with another 6 months, severance pay. If
Right.
if he's terminated
That's right.
4 months from now we gotta pay him another 6 months.
That's right.
so,
So what I'm asking is, can I get the motion and the second amended to reflect that?
There, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Who made the second?
And Mr. Noel made
Mr. Noel?
Yeah,
You amend your second
I remember.
to reflect that, Mike?
yes. And I would be, just want you guys, I'll be relying on Attorney Schuler to deal with that
Yeah.
part of it, to how the agreement is structured. That's,
You understand what the board's wanting,
Yes.
Mike?
But
so-
Mark O'Brien, the CEO of TMH, wants the people of Franklin County satisfied. I cannot sit here and say that I'm satisfied as a commissioner with his job. When we know you have taken on some of the responsibilities that he should have done, when I know that he had, delegated, I'll use that word, delegated some of his responsibility to other staff at the hospital that's doing stuff. And quite frankly, you know, when you have, inspections of that hospital through Joint Commission or ACA, he should be head on foot at that hospital 24 hours a day if that's what it takes. I've worked in a hospital setting. I know what I'm talking about. And that's what I'm saying. I am not satisfied with his performance as a CEO of Waynes Memorial Hospital in Franklin County, Florida. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just a question if I may. What are the board's instructions or directions if TMH cannot turn this around in that 30-day period? What kind of flexibility does your staff have in terms of finding an interim CEO through TMH? If it
That-
cannot be, I'm not saying, I don't know whether it can or cannot, but if it can't, then what?
Well, that's what we were trying to find out from Mr. Michael Marone, and he would contact Mr.
if I have to drive in Tallahassee, I will.
Okay.
I'll get with Mr., and I'll inform everybody, you know, as to what
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Brown
mean-
told me as soon as possible,
as soon as possible.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a CO out there, new one. It's some stuff need to be straightened out there.
Michael, real quick,
Sir?
if he can't find us one soon enough, he needs to get somebody down here acting as
A
interim.
placeholder.
Yeah.
So you don't really have a choice.
Yes.
You gotta get
And
somebody
interim,
down there.
interim is fine with me.
Interim is fine.
I just want Mr. Cooper gone.
We
You
do have a
understand?
motion and a second on the floor.
In the contract, ain't it, don't he supposed to do that anyway, right? Mike? So,
That
gotta
is-
have some more.
That is correct. That is
Right.
their contractual responsibility.
Normally, when we're hiring a CEO, it runs through the hospital board but doing an intern, which is not a permanent position, I think we're fine going the way we're going.
The interim, yes.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries unanimously.
And Commissioner Massey, I apologize for not being able to answer your question. I'm sorry.
Well, I know.
Now,
Yeah,
let's
you
get
did.
back to the,
Yeah, you did.
I talk to you quite regular.
let's get back to the,
Can I go back to F?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
hang on, let me
sorry.
get my glasses on.
Back to the,
Back to E,
oh, lifeguard. the meeting.
lifeguard. Is everybody willing to talk to these people and
Can
see
I-
what they got to
Oh,
offer?
yeah.
Can I pick some dates and everybody
Yes.
look at them one-on-one?
I think the board-
Commissioner,
board-
my recommendation is do it. It's worth it.
So,
It's-
you know, do it sort of like you did CHC.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm gonna say this too, let me add to it before we got sidetracked. Remember, both agencies do not run EMS services. Both of the proposals you're looking at, so they, I hate to use this word, farm it out, but that's what they're probably gonna do also. So I would, rather this board, you guys make a decision rather than let them make a decision for you. That's,
Well, I mean,
That's how
getting
I-
back to my statement earlier is, you know, we asked the hospital to run the ambulance service. The hospital didn't ask us to take over
That's
the
right.
ambulance service. And that's basically what your proposals are saying. You know, it may be that we need to go to a private entity, but as the commissioners are talking to these individuals, how long do they plan on being here?
Yeah.
We don't want them here 6 months and then, oh, we gone. If we're
Yeah.
gonna look at something like that, we need to establish a contract for 5 years, 7 years, so we don't have to deal with this every 6 months or every year. They run the contract.
Yeah.
And there will be penalty clauses if they break that contract. So that's some of the things you need to talk to these people about, because
Right.
I'm not interested in no 3 or 4 months.
No, we need a long time
I'm not
contract.
interested in
Long
that,
term.
but it does sound good. Let's
They're-
move forward, Mike.
dare I say, I won't say emergency because that'll bring horrors to
Well,
night to
and
everybody.
that's what we, that's
And
what
I
we need
would,
to
I'm
do.
sorry.
When we frame that,
anyway.
contract
I'm
with
like
it,
him.
Michael, when we frame that contract with whoever
Whoever,
we do,
that's right.
we need to do it to where, to the benefit of the emergency medical services in Franklin County and not to the company that we're doing it with.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yes, but it's only a meeting, so everybody just don't panic. That's not what we're saying what we're doing, so.
Okay, you going to F?
Can move on to F. I received a letter from Mr. Kevin Curtis of Health Group West. After you had the opportunity to review Ms. Curtis's letter, let me know if you would like me to add him to a future meeting agenda. This letter is included in your agenda packet. There's been a speaker during public comments that keep asking you guys to look at some letter. That's who I think he was referring to. I have not talked to this gentleman. I just got the letter email.
Hold on, let me read.
Item F.
This is the guy from the West Coast,
Yes,
and we got enough stuff to deal with already.
I don't think so.
I don't either.
okay.
Just like we just got through dealing with this issue, we got enough stuff relating to the hospital to deal with. We got 2 different proposals we're trying to assess. We're looking at the EMS. I mean, we just got enough stuff to look at without bringing somebody from California back in there.
Tell me about it. Okay, item number 3, I think we took care of item number 2 already. At your last meeting, I was directed to meet with Caravel's mayor, Mrs. Brenda La Paz, to discuss the possibility of the county's building official doing inspections for the city's building projects. The mayor and I met last Thursday and discussed the following proposal. Hope I don't lose anybody. The county will pay for the creation of a permitting database program for the city that is similar but separate from the county's program. And the county will also pay for the monthly fee for this program. These payments will be made from the permit building fees that will be collected by the county from the city. I left that part out. Now, with this program, city staff will receive credentials to log into the system. The city staff will be responsible for completing the online permit application. Once the application is completed, city staff will notify county staff. At that point, county staff will determine the permit fee collect the fees, and then issue the permit. The city building inspections will be incorporated into the building official's county inspection schedule and will be done as his schedule allows. If this plan is approved today, Mayor LaPaz will discuss it with the Carabel City Commission on Thursday. Ms. Amy Ham Kelly and I are in the process of scheduling a meeting with the City of Apalachicola staff to discuss this same plan. So, basically, we're creating a software which is very similar to the one we have. It works really well. We will give them a login information. They will log in. They will complete the permit application from A to Z. That is the concern you had, Mr. Chairman. It will deal with their planning and zoning, their setbacks, their architectural reviews, whatever they have there. They will send us an email indicating that this permit is ready to be
They
reviewed.
satisfied all the requirements.
That's right, and it's now ready to be reviewed for cost. The contractor will come over here or call, if they have a credit card, they could call, we will determine the fee, tell the contractor the fee, they can pay by credit card over the phone, or come over here, cash, check, whatever. Then we issue the permit, and when inspections are called for, Mr. Gary will receive them on his iPad like he does the counties now,
Okay.
but it will be incorporated into the county's county's inspections, because, for instance, last week, Mr. Gary got a complaint that he had to go to Dog Island for. Well, that knocks him out for almost most of the day.
Yeah.
But the county's inspections has to take precedence over any of the two cities. It has to be incorporated. He'll do it as soon as he possibly can after he's,
And the reason, in my opinion, for that, Mike, is he is a county building official, and the people outside the two municipalities can't call the city for help. They ain't got nobody to call but the county. Now, we're trying to help the cities, and that's fine, but we gotta take care of the people in the county, because they ain't got nobody else to call.
Now,
So-
the city of Carabel realizes that,
Yes.
right?
Well, both of them has to realize, because I understand the city of Appalachia is now called, and they may be interested too.
Yes, sir.
Which is fine. We help both municipalities, we're gonna help one, let's help the other. But we have to play by the same rules. You can't have, what happened to us last time is we had 3 or 4 people calling down here saying, issue the permit, issue the permit. Well, this way, they gotta go through the software, and the city has to certify that they've done everything the city's asked before they get the county involved. Now, my only question is if building is picking up, as we all know,
Big time.
when the county building official can't handle everything on his plate, where you gonna get money to hire another building official?
We'll have another discussion, sir.
Well, permit fees are gonna have to go up or something to offset that.
Yes.
I'm just letting everybody know, when we get to that point, and it's gonna happen, because building is really picking up.
Because we had that before, remember?
We had 2 inspectors before, we only had 1 for the last 4 or 5 years. And when it picks back up, you're gonna need another building inspector, which is not cheap.
Well-
They don't start at $25,000 a year.
Yes, sir. What,
Where does that money get generated from?
Fees.
you said that, what was very interesting, if you guys were paying attention, when the contractors were here, at the last meeting, when the contractors said Franklin County has the lowest fees in the state. So I already have Amy doing some work on that, and Alan could tell us the last time the fees were actually raised.
We're probably, well, I don't wanna say half, but we are substantially below any other fee schedule in the state of Florida.
Well,
Substantially.
this stuff may have to go up in order to facilitate the hiring of another building official to keep up with the demand as we move forward. I'm not saying that's today,
Yeah.
but if we take on the 2 cities, you're gonna see Mr. Gary's gonna be under strain now.
Yeah.
Just like he said, having to go to Dog Island, that puts everything out for that whole day with him traveling across the water and all. He's not doing nothing that day.
That's right.
And if this stuff starts building up, I just wanna make the board aware of that.
Yeah.
As we take on more responsibility, those fees may have to go up to offset the cost of another building official.
I would start looking at it.
I did, have Amy looking at it.
I would even start
Well, I
looking at
mean,
it.
we can look at it come budget time and stuff like that, but something's gonna have to give, because I just see things ramping back up. Maybe not like it used to be in the heyday of
Yeah.
the big building boom, but it is increasing, as Mr. Schuler and everybody else, and building department will tell you, more permits will be an issue.
Yep.
And more building is going on.
And
Go ahead, Mike.
We need to draft an interlocal agreement between the city of Carabel and the city of Apalachicola, assuming the board approves this, and I'm seeing a lot of indication that it will be approved. Does the board want Mr. Hartman, the city attorney for Carabel, to take a first stab at a draft of an interlocal agreement, or would the board prefer that I draft the interlocal agreement?
I prefer you did it.
I do too.
Yeah, me too, if I can vote.
I would prefer you did it.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
both cities in the county. You know, if the city of Appalachia chooses to come along,
So the one interlocal agreement would be for both
for
cities?
both cities.
Well, but do we have an affirmative from the city of Carabel, an official yes, or is this
They
just
won't
a?
until Thursday because their city meeting is Thursday, so they're waiting to see if this board approved that proposal, then they're gonna take it to their, the mayor's gonna discuss it with their.
Probably draft one interlocal with the city of Carabel, and then if Apalachicola comes along, I mean, I'll have the template available.
Do you need it by motion?
Yeah,
that we-
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna
Accept
go
this
ahead
proposal.
and make a motion to approve your recommendation with the building inspections for the city of Carabel.
Second.
And contact the mayor and let her know so she can put it on her
Agenda.
agenda.
It's on the agenda, it's
We have a-
ready.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
Yeah, what would the county get out of,
Permit fee.
Well,
how much,
it,
money is wise?
I had Amy do a study, and the last time we collected for eight months' worth of fees, oh goodness, I can't, I'll tell you what, 8 months' worth of fees was more than what the software cost. It was a little bit over what the software will cost. Because don't forget, the software there's a design, one-time design fee, then there's a monthly maintenance fee that we have to pay. So
So
I can get.
the permit fees would cover that software
yeah.
cost, which would be paid for the county through the permit fees.
Yes. So basically, the permit fees are paying for their software.
And basically, there's nothing left over for this additional building official,
For the-
should we need it.
Like for
And I
gas
think we will.
and
Well, if you
exactly.
go up in our rates, it'll help us. I mean,
Yes,
we're the
it will.
lowest.
Well, you also got to consider that if our building official gets sick, everything in the county stops,
Yeah.
because you don't have a backup.
So one man.
So you need to start, and we've already discussed that, let's move on, but we need to start looking at it, because
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
if that one building official, Lord forbid, got sick or something,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have no building going on, because there'd be nobody to inspect for the cities or the county.
Yeah.
Maybe
Regardless
we
if we're hiring anybody or not, we still need to look forward to going up on it because we so far down.
And the property owners, ad valorem tax shouldn't have to pay for this.
Yeah.
That's
It should
right.
be
And I would-
done with fees
I agree.
for the people
For the
that
people that need the service, sir.
need it.
And I would also like to hear what Mr. Gary Millender has to say, you know, what his opinions are also as building official.
Okay.
And how much he can take and how much he can't take, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what you gotta look at, this gonna be, well, really, you talking about adding 2 more to what he's doing now. And if it pick up, and which it's picking up, and it's gonna pick up more, that man gonna have to do a lot of work. No extra money. What if he refused? What, you can't,
Well, from my perspective, Commissioners, it's probably I'll look at raising the fees effective in
The one you-
September.
the
new budget
October
year.
1.
And let's do an assessment, because then maybe raise the fees and then plan on hiring a part-time building inspector in the next year. I mean, I think you're probably headed that way, and you ought to go ahead and plan on raising the fees to generate the revenues.
That's what I was saying,
That's a-
get the ball rolling, but let's look at it during our budget,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
budget session.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, I'm not sure if it was did we vote on number 3 already? No, because Mr. Lockley made a comment. No, you didn't, so.
huh?
No.
He's making a comment to us.
We have a motion and a second on the floor.
You do.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Sheriff left already, huh? Okay, item number 4, in an attempt to stop illegal contraband from entering the jail, the sheriff erected a high sand berm next to the shooting range and an exterior fence beyond that. This security measure has created an access issue for East Point Water and Sewer District to allow servicing and the replacement of their lift station that services the jail. The previous access point, which has been blocked by the sheriff's security measure, was using the dirt road to the left of the landfill's main entrance, then travel behind the Humane Society, past the shooting range, and finally making that left towards the lift station. Mr. Clay Kennedy and I, along with Mr. Billy Fuentes and Clay Moore of East Point Water and Sewer, visited the site seeking an alternative access point. Since the lift station is only a few hundred feet from Highway 65, the most direct and shortest route would be creating a new access point from Highway 65. However, since 65 is a state road, this access point will require engineered permit application. Hope I said that right, Clay. The construction of a lime rock road and fencing would also be necessary. Is the board willing to pay for the permit fee, which may run up to $6,000, and have the sheriff, and East Point Water and Sewer create the access road and erect the fencing? Board discussion. Commissioner, I mean, they used to go from High Fonda Road, that road into the left of the entrance of Fonda, go around the back of Humane Society, all the way around past the shooting range, and then make that turn once they cleared that to go to the lift station. That's a long way. When if you're on Highway 65, the lift station is right about there. I mean, that's,
100 feet away.
it's ridiculous. So,
Well, more importantly, sir, we don't need to be sending anybody behind the shooting range.
well, yes, and East Point Water and Sewer never had any kind of easement, grant by the county to actually use that road to go all the way back there. They were just doing it because that's the only way they could get there, for the most part. So, I mean, let's just go ahead and make this a permanent access point. It'll be easier for everybody, especially when they are ready to replace that lift station, which is getting closer and closer. You
You know,
know,
we got East Point Sewer and Water agreeing that it's their lift station, they're the main source, so let's make it easier on them and go ahead and give them access so they can just go right there. I mean, I think it's a work hard investment.
And then you gotta do periodic maintenance and stuff too.
oh, yeah.
They need access to
Yeah, I
that
mean,
lift
and,
station.
you know,
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
item number 5, Commissioner Jones has received numerous requests to add lights to the St. George Island Fishing Pier and parking lot area. Due to the temporary closing of other county boat ramps for renovation and improvement projects, there's more early morning traffic in this area. Staff has received a quote from Case Electric for $7,147.93. That includes equipment and labor to install a solar light system there. It will be the same system that was installed at Pine Log Boat Ramp last year. This will be paid from the St. George Island Fishing Pier Maintenance Fund.
I had some calls on that same issue, Mike.
Yeah.
And also, additionally, they said the dock is in disrepair there. I guess where they launch the boats and tie up. So we need to have Parks and Rec or somebody look at that also.
Okay.
But I did have somebody contact me about the light too, so. Pleasure of the board.
Make the motion to approve.
We got a
Second.
motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Inform the board that Mr. Mark Harrington has received notice from Mr. Phil Horning, who is Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission's derelict vessel program administrator, that due to legal issues, which they did not state, their department is unable to remove the derelict vessel located in the Caribou River at this time. Mr. Currington has notified the contractor to remove this vessel from his list. I guess as soon as they clear it up, the legal issues, they'll let us know, and when more funding comes around, we'll apply for it then. If there's no questions, item number 7, board action to authorize the chairman's signature on a resolution for the Triumph grant application for $2 million to fund the completion of the renovations and upgrades to the Fort Coombs Armory.
So
Pierce,
moved.
take it away.
I have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion?
Let me just say, so this is one of the examples where the ARPC is coming to great assistance. So you all spent $1,000 to buy computer time to run REMI model. REMI stands for Rural Economic Modeling Initiative. The ARPC has a software, and that $1,000 generated a very positive answer, a number for us, showing the economic benefit of the armory. Basically for the amount of, and I forget the amount of revenue we received, but it turned into over a 28-year period, I think it was $8.8 million worth of investment, which is the $2 million request makes 4 to 1. Triumph wants 3 to 1. So I think we're in pretty good shape on our
That's
application.
good.
Alan, real quick while you're up here, give us a quick update on the Triumph Board meeting yesterday.
I didn't go to it.
Okay, they approved 3 projects.
They approved 3
One for
projects.
the Port of Panama City.
Yes.
One for the Wakulla School
School
Board.
system, yes, that's
And
correct.
one for the Okaloosa County School Board.
Yes, yeah, and Jason Schoaf was quoted as saying he's really pushing development, job training and
These rural counties.
rural counties, and so he's pushing that. And I was just talking to the clerk, the school, Franklin County school system is still looking at their program, as we talked last time. The challenge is, and I didn't quite say it right, the challenge is the school system receive money from the state of Florida for graduation rates and people with diplomas diplomas. What Triumph is trying to get them to create is not necessarily diplomas, but the certificate, this industrial certificate. And that's causing an internal problem with the school system, how they get money.
But both of these, Wakulla County and Okaloosa County are using these certificates.
I know,
So-
so I'm hoping that they found a way to do it.
They obviously found a way to do it, and maybe our school system could get with their superintendents or whatever and find out
Yes.
how they did it.
Yes.
But it can be done
Yes,
because
it
it
can be
clearly
done.
states,
Yes.
in the email I received last night, that both of those schools are actually doing the certificate. So there is a way to do it.
And,
Some of the
and
schools.
I read an article, last week in one of the newspapers way off, where they're coming to understand that there's more of a need for the certificate than it is a high school education. I've got a nephew doing the same thing. He didn't finish out the 12th grade education, but he's getting a welding degree, a degree in welding. So, I mean, because he's gonna have that certificate, and it doesn't matter, to me, it would matter, because I would want to know that I got a high school education for the math that you need for welding, because you gotta do the inches and the quarter inches and, all that. But, I mean, that's the way the trend is going. It's not for diplomas, it's for certificates.
Because of the meeting we actually had, and I forget who was talking about this, but basically, if you're a parent raising, a child and you want to get them on their own, you can send them to a 4-year, get them to high school and then 4 years of college, or you can go the certificate route, and you're saving tens of thousands of dollars of either family debt or student loan debt. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars is other mechanisms to get your own child in a productive mode. So it's a real incentive to try and get this thing going.
It's just like last week, I saw an ad from West Virginia. Now, this is an ad that right now, they need welders up on the pipeline that they're fixing to do from West Virginia to North Carolina and all like that. They're now paying $24.41 an hour to these people. As of June 1, they will pay them $27.41 an hour plus $45 a day for their per diem stuff. So, and I mean, all you gotta do is have a certificate in welding, So, I mean, to me, that's what we're talking about. That's where it's beneficial,
So back to our application, so we hope to get our application next month, and what I don't have the numbers on, so it was 145 pre-applications. The true full applications are very slow coming in. Triumph Board is sort of lamenting that they didn't realize they'd made the application process so difficult. So I don't know, so if we get ours in next week, which hopefully we will, so the Triumph Board meeting in May then, or May, whenever the next one is, we might be able to have our application reviewed. So I think we're much faster. I think the chairman was telling me this, and I wasn't agreeing with him, but now I am agreeing with him. And I think it'll be a much faster turnaround for the actual application.
That's good.
That's why I want to let the public know that 3 applications were approved and funded. And the only setbacks for that is how they enacted something where they can get the money back if programs don't do what they promised to do. That's part of it, and then starting time. Okay, Mike, move along.
Mr. Chairman, we have a motion and a second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, pretty good news here. Staff was notified that based on the 2018 legislative appropriation, the county has received a $100,000 allocation for Fort Coombs Armory sprinkler system from your state CFO, State Fire Marshal, Mr. Jimmy Petronis. Mr. Mark Urrington is planning on using these funds to leverage additional funds to complete the installation of the sprinkler system, which should total approximately $350,000. Board actions authorize the chairman's signature on the grantee award letter.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
Let me say this item, the board is always very good about recognizing people who benefit the county. In this case, we don't know who put the $100,000 in it. We don't know if the state fire marshal did it because we were complaining about they had burdened us with it. We don't know if the senator did it. We don't know if the representative, we don't have any idea who put the money in the budget.
Well, we're gonna go with the CFO, and I wanna, have Mr. Lockley, add to his motion to send a letter of thanks to CFO Jimmy Petronis, for trying to help Franklin County out.
You mean your motion, Commissioner?
I got to think about that. Yeah, I've been.
I know, that would be only the,
My second, yes.
we might want some more money, fellas.
Let the record reflect the motion in a second has been amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Number 9, board actions authorize the chairman's signature on the professional, architectural, and engineering construction administration fee proposal, it's a mouthful, for the public defender's office. This proposal was agreed to prior to the start of the project, but as the project is about to be completed, it was discovered that it was never signed by the chairman.
Pleasure of the board.
It's something we do it now. That's part of every project.
So
we do,
moved.
yes.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Oh, Jimmy, cool dude.
Okay, item 10, it's a secret from Alan, we're not telling him this, it'll break his heart. I informed the board that at the last meeting, Ms. Lisa Lance is returning a 2004 Chevy Cavalier to the administrative office and would use a 1998 Ford pickup donated by the sheriff. I'm recommending that the Cavalier be sent to auction.
Well, I thought we was gonna put it in Allen's yard and let it be a monument.
I thought
That
it
works
was
for me
too.
too.
Some of that white nuts?
Next question was, did we get the air condition fixed in?
Got windows.
Oh,
I make a motion to go ahead and,
we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders,
Second.
second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I seen that thing riding the other
All
day.
opposed? Motion carried.
We're almost there. Staff has received a request from Career Source Golf Coast to reappoint Ms. Betty Kroom to another 3-year term. Ms. Kroom represents the private sector on this board and is interested in continuing her service.
So moved.
second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried.
Attorney Dan Cox is available on the following Saturdays to present the required 4-hour ethics training, May 26th, June 9th, June 23rd, and June 30th. Later this week, let me know which dates work for you, and I will schedule the class.
Mike, do you remember when the annual conference is?
26, isn't it?
26th.
Is that last week in June, I think?
So
That's
we could
correct.
do it.
So the 23rd would be before, the 30th would be after.
Exactly.
I'd like to do it on the 26th or June the 9th and get it over with, so it doesn't interfere with that conference.
Oh, that early, okay, okay.
I mean, it's the pleasure of the board.
I don't have to go.
Okay. She's showing
Don't
up.
matter to me.
She's
I'm
showing
a-
up.
I'm a-
I don't wanna do
Well,
it.
what happened to the city of Carabel? Y'all can't go?
No, that was through the League of Cities. That actually fell through because more people pulled out. I guess their schedule.
That Thursday is
conflicts
what
Yeah,
with
it don't
Thursday,
work.
so they had to
Yeah.
cancel it. So they're offering it to them in Panama City. And and once you guys pick a date, I'm gonna offer it to both cities.
Yeah.
I'll even go beyond, go to Gulf County and see if, you know, they're
I'll
interested.
make a motion that we choose May 26th and get with, Mr. Cox.
Okay.
And see if he can do it May 26th. And, that would be on a Saturday, wouldn't it?
Mhm, they're all Saturday.
All Saturday.
That's my motion.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion?
Yeah, we going over there?
No, it'll be right here,
It'll be
like
here.
the last time.
It'll be
Yeah.
here.
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carried.
give you
And just to say, you'll get your pound cake now.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you guys a couple of days. Please double check your schedule to make sure the 26th, then I'll let Mr.
Okay.
Cox know, okay? We addressed item 13 already. Item 14, Commissioner Lockley's gonna have to help me on this one. It's kind of before my time. Board action to approve a resolution of appreciation for Ms. Clara Liz Condo Varner. Liz, although born in Savannah, Georgia, considers herself a native daughter of Franklin County since relocating to Apalachicola in her teens to live with her father, the late Warren S. Hayward Sr., and her stepmother, the late Mary Ann Hayward. Liz has been with the Florida Highway Patrol since 1996 and will retire on June 30th, 2018. A retirement party is planned at the Armory in June for her retirement. She also will be retiring from, I think she's in reserves now. She was in the military before she went to FHB. And so they're gonna have one big thing here for the whole family. Commissioner Lockley knows the family.
Yeah, she graduated. She went to school in high school.
Yeah.
That's Savage daughter. They ran, they from Kingdom, Hawaii. But
Pleasure of the board.
She from here. So moved.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Any further discussion? All
She
those in
finished high
favor?
school. She finished her high school out there at Chapel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
And finally, I'd like to remind the board that the active shooter exercise will be at the main courthouse on Friday, May 11th, from 12 noon to 3:30 p.m. I don't know if the clerk wants to add anything. I'm staying over here. Right now. but-
We're pretty much relying on law enforcement.
Yeah.
They're running that exercise.
Okay, and That's my report, Commissioners. If you have any questions for me.
Board members have anything for Mr. Morone?
I don't, but I need to ask the clerk, Mr. Chairman. You remember I asked before about the check?
We
The contract?
contacted my office. We don't have an actual contract, but the RFPs were done and approved in 2012 for the auditors, and we just did a letter of engagement each year for the fiscal years.
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we go out for RFQs.
Qualification, okay.
Yeah, the qualification for a county auditor for the county and for Wings Memorial Hospital also. A
Second.
motion.
We had talked earlier, and I think there was a group that went to the hospital board meeting. Mike,
No, let me tell you what happened. They wanted to go up, Carl Riggs and Ingram. Remember they came here in front of you guys? The reason I didn't do that is just because of this reason. I didn't want them to go in front of the board, and then there was an RFQ, and it seemed like they had an unfair disadvantage by being already interviewed by the board. So since we're doing this now, they could just go ahead and submit an RFQ to the Weems Board of Directors, and then we'll interview them.
okay, I know some of, or basically the two proposers we have right now, between the proposal that we were speaking about earlier, was wanting somebody with more hospital experience in preparing the cost reports and all
Yeah.
that. So what I'm trying to say is, I think you should have two separate RFQs, one for that hospital, which is a different animal, and then one for the county.
Okay, well, I'll add that to my motion.
Okay.
To separate the two.
It may be the same
One for
company, I
county,
don't know.
yeah, one for county auditor, one for the hospital auditor, then that'll make y'all feel better about it.
It could be the same company, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess our attorney will do the proposals,
The-
right?
Sure.
And
For
if I
RFQs.
remember right, it's been since 2012, but I think there's a process where you have to have a committee, an audit committee. And I wanna say it has to have a commissioner on it, and then all the constitutional officers, that once they receive the bids, make a recommendation. And I'll get with Mr. Schuler on it.
Yeah.
I think the clerk's correct on that.
We
Yeah.
do that, okay.
Yeah, that's what
Yes,
we
we have a
did
motion and a
before.
second.
You second?
I want to amend my second.
Okay,
I'm in my motion.
amend the motion and amend the
Yeah.
second to
Yeah.
reflect the discussion.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carried.
Have I done enough damage?
You've had the longest of, you have our attention longer than anybody else today.
You're not
Yep.
saying that, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, I think we got some things accomplished. Next on the agenda would be Mr. Michael Schuler, County Attorney's Report.
Commissioner, I just have one action item for you, and I want to disclose to the board and the public that this action item actually affects a current client of mine. I'm not representing Mr. Byrd here before you, but he is a client of mine, and some matters that are unrelated to this. As you can see from the written report, if you'll flip over to page 3 of my written report, you'll see this is a printout from the property appraiser's website. It shows a city lot, which is 60 by 100, located at the intersection of Avenue I and 6th Street. And in that, or on this piece of paper, you see a highlighted section. That is a little piece of property that's owned by the city of Apalachicola. It is 15 foot wide and 60 feet long, and it bisects that lot. Mr. Byrd would like to buy that from the city, and the city wants the county to release its reverter, and that's what I'm here asking the board to do today, is to release that reverter as requested by the city of Apalachicola so they can sell this lot. Board discussion?
I would say they gonna do it, cause the way the thing's set up, it's crazy, they got the alley right here, but the part what they own is in the middle of the lot. It's not by the way all of your stuff gonna be, like your water meters and stuff. Water meters be by the alley, but the part we talking about, it's right in the middle of the lot. It's crazy.
And I can't explain to the board how or why this one lot was split over time into 3 different parcels. I mean, The city development regulations require 6,000 square feet in order to build on a residential lot, so 60 by 100 is 6,000 feet. The two other areas of this particular lot that are on either side of the highlighted area are already owned by Mr. Byrd. As you're looking at this photograph, the larger piece to the right-hand side, which is 40 feet by 60 feet, he's owned for a long, long time. He's recently purchased the piece of property to the left, which is, I believe, another 20 feet by 60 feet. What he needs to obtain in order to make the lot buildable is that 15-foot section that the city owns. Y'all, as a county, had deeded that 15-foot section to the city of Apalachicola back in 2010 for some stormwater and drainage purposes. And as is typical in deeds from or to government agencies, there's a reverter provision which says if the city ever tries to sell it, then the ownership would revert back to the county unless you release the reverter. My recommendation to the board is, if you're agreeable to releasing the reverter, is it be with conditions. One condition would be that the city make a decision within 90 days whether they're going to sell the property or not. And then if for some reason they don't sell that property within that 90-day period, then your authorization to me, assuming I get it, would expire and the reverter would remain in place. The property appraiser has assessed a fair market value of $7,500 on this 15-foot section. When I told Mr. Byrd that, I'm not speaking for Mr. Byrd, but I don't think he plans on paying $7,500. I think he's at a much lower number than that.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I don't have a problem with doing that, but the city of Apalachicola needed this this property for, like you said, storm retention. And now they're wanting to sell it, but when they go to sell it, the reverter clause says it goes back to the county.
That's correct.
I have a problem with it, but I mean, I'm gonna go with the commissioner of that district. My thing is, why do we give land? I mean, we gave it to the city of Apalachicola, right?
That is correct. As my recollection is there was some agreement, a transaction between the county and the city in 2010 relative to affordable housing. The city did something relative to affordable housing. In exchange for that, the county was giving them not just this, but several other pieces of partial lots that the county had ownership
I
of.
remember this one specifically because we said that little old piece because it wasn't that wide, you know, on here. But anyway, I mean, I'm gonna defer to Mr. Lockley, but if it's gonna be sold, the money needs to come to the county and not the city of Apalachicola.
Commissioner, that's not how this would operate.
Yeah, I
Whatever
know
monies
it.
are
I
paid
know it.
would be paid to the city of Apalachicola because they actually own the property.
Or we could say, okay, if you're gonna sell it, it reverts back to the county, and then we sell it to Mr. Byrd. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not one to give land for a public purpose, and then sell it, you know what I'm saying, to a private.
And I agree with that also, but I understand the man needs land to build.
Absolutely.
The question is he gonna build?
Is it gonna build?
Or is he gonna put together one whole lot? Some of them lots up there are going for $65,000 a lot.
Or more.
So is he gonna build if he got this 50, I think that should be a requirement, at the very least, that he build on that lot, not sell that lot for gain.
That's where I'm going.
And
with it.
another issue real quick is, I've got several people in my district that take the airport fence. It's not built to the monument, it's set back about 15 foot. I've had people wanting to buy that 15 foot. Alan remembers what I'm talking about. We said, no, we can't do that because that property actually belongs to the airport, even though the fence is not on the property line.
That's right.
So there's other people around that would like to buy little slithers of county property that we've never done, because if you sell county property, it's always been told to me that it has to be put out for bid. Everybody has the same opportunity. This is a little different situation, but I'm saying we have to be careful about how we do. I know we've abandoned alleys, some streets we've abandoned, and this property only got so much, and the one on the other side, we kind of split it between the two. So it's been done before, but we have to be very careful. But my contention is, does Mr. Byrd want to put this lot together to sell the lot, or is he actually going to build a house?
I
Do you
can,
know, Mr. Commissioner Lockley?
I can tell you what he told me, but it's not binding, but.
But it could be,
The intention is.
as a condition, it could be.
Well, you can't legally put a restriction that says someone cannot convey property. I mean,
Well, then I
there's
can't
a rule
vote
against
for it.
that.
I can't, that's what I'm
I
saying.
can't vote for it then.
Okay,
Because
that's fine.
you could be making a man have $8,000 in a lot and sell it for 30. Now, if he was actually going to physically build a house, but you're saying there's no way we can require that, so I can't vote for it either.
That's what
Well, I will tell you what I was told.
Well, I mean, I know that, but
He's putting it together for his son to have a place to come back home and build a house is what he has told me. But in terms of putting a legal restriction that prevents the conveyance and the sale of the property to whomever, I mean, you can't do that, sorry.
but,
The thing right in the middle, I don't see how to say that nobody else gonna go in the middle of somebody's lot and put you got 2 lots there, well, 3 really. Half in the middle right there. I don't see what they gonna put there. With that 15 foot, what can the city use that for?
Stormwater drainage is what specifically the deed says is,
but they had to know when they done that, that lot was gonna be unbuildable.
it is to, here's the specific reverter language that I put in the deed. Title is conveyed on the condition that the parcel shall remain public property to be possessed, occupied, and used exclusively for stormwater retention or sewer lift station purposes only. Title shall immediately and automatically revert to grantor if the parcel is used, occupied, or possessed for any other purpose or is no longer public property. And that's the reason when Mr. Byrd, remember, Mr. Byrd didn't come to the county saying, county, sell me a piece of property. Mr. Byrd went to the city of Apalachicola. City, sell me this piece of property. The city said, there's a reverter provision. You gotta go talk to the county, which is why I'm here
Right
today.
there.
And as you can see, the last document attached to my report is Mr. Floyd's email to me requesting that the county consider the release of the reverter provision for the purposes of selling the property.
Any more discussion of the board?
Well, I make a motion that we sell it to them.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a
What is it?
second? A motion to sell it, or give it to the city.
To do away with the reverter clause.
Subject to, if the board approves it, subject to the conditions that I've placed, 90-day time period to be sold within that 90 days, or the reverter remains in place.
Yes.
Okay.
Subject to whatever the law you put in there.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a second? We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mm-hmm.
I would just like to publicly state that the only reason I'm doing this, number one, I feel like I'm going with the will of the commissioner of that district. But number two is because of the time provision we're placing on.
Any other comments? All those in favor?
it.
All opposed?
Opposed.
I oppose.
Motion fails.
Anything else, Mr. Schuler?
No, sir, just one item.
That's one item. We are down to commissioner comment.
I got one let's go back to that hospital. When we do the CEO thing, I don't think we should, like I said before, when we do a contract, I know the way it's set up now, CEO work for Tallahassee Memorial. Well, I guess they contracted the same contract that Tallahassee Memorial gets. And I don't think we should be under that because we're a small county, we're not big as Tallahassee. We shouldn't try to pay as much as Tallahassee on nothing. Really, I mean, CEO, Tallahassee can afford to pay a CEO $150. Maybe, I don't know what they pay them. They can afford to pay them $200. It ain't gonna hurt them because they got way more. They got a whole lot more people than what Franklin County got. But when we start saying we gonna move somebody, give them a job, take them down there. If they stay in West Virginia or New York City, we gonna give them X amount of dollars to come here. I don't think we should have to do that. Because, you know, we already paying a high dollar figure. And if they can't go bars, if they ain't got enough money to come to what we paying, and which I think that's too high for this area, it shouldn't be that high. But if they can't get down here without us getting them money, they don't get nobody else no money. They don't get hey, if they give him $10,000 and he not performing, or they get down here and don't perform, then they got a gravy train. You getting paid from another county, we can't tell you nothing. You automatically gonna get paid. If we said something to you, you got to give you 6 months. That's entrapment. They got us, and they got this county entrapped. We shouldn't have, I don't think we should go through that, so I'm gonna make a motion. Can I make a motion?
We're not supposed to.
No, it's too late.
But let me add something to your comments real quick. Whenever we've always hired a CEO, it's been done, it goes to the Wings board, and then they make the recommendation to our board to actually hire this guy.
Yeah.
And the 6 months severance and the travel money, all that's negotiated at the hospital board level before that's recommended to this board to adopt. It's not Tallahassee doing it. This time, we're asking them to come up with an interim CEO to get us through till we see where we're going to.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different than what you're speaking on, Mr. Locker. When you go to hire a permanent CEO, if we're still in charge and one of the proposals hadn't taken it over, then these are the comments that needs to be directed to the hospital board when they're negotiating a new contract with the new CEO, so to speak. Am I phrasing this about right?
I'm listening carefully.
So that's,
Well, I think they should be taken out completely, because, you know,
we would have to send that direction to the hospital board though, when they're negotiating. Should we
You'll have a chance to
should we
vote
get to
on
that
it.
point?
You'll have a chance to vote on it when it comes forward.
Yes. But this interim we won't.
Yeah, no,
yeah, I know.
interim.
It don't matter about this one,
Yeah.
this one just a temporary thing.
But we would have to send that information to the hospital board if we decided to go that route again.
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
I just putting my feelings out there.
Right.
I'm not trying to prolong this meeting thing, but I need to ask Mr. Morone, what's going on with the rural health care clinic status for Wings East? Can you explain that to me, and then I'm on.
Well, at the Board of Directors meeting, the couple that made a motion to direct Mr. Cooper to basically offer, they were saying urgent care, but basically what the board members wanted was both walk-in and primary care at the Carabel Clinic. And we've all been down this road before.
Yeah.
In the past, Ms. Cooper said it's too expensive. Well, one of the board members did some research on his own and found out that Wakulla Urgent Care is doing it, and it's not expensive. Anyway, so Mr. Cooper did some research, and he told us that in order to do it, to come to the end of the story real quick, it needed to be the designation of a rural health clinic. And then he told the board that in January or February of this year, the clinic over here in West was just finally designated that, but they haven't got their license. And he had just started the process for the one over in Carabel.
No. If y'all will remember, Dr. Charbonneau, way back when he was here, he did all the legwork for that. The information, the stuff that he needed. And Mr. Cooper stood right here at this podium and said 3 years ago that he was working on it
Well,
for Carabel. Did he not?
I'm relying on what he
That's the way
said.
I understood it.
I know. Well, that's the reason why I made a motion.
That's what he said at the board meeting. So,
That's the reason why I made a motion.
To answer your question, if Carabel clinics get that rural designation, there is a way, there is a path you can offer both urgent, well, walk-in, I hate to use the word urgent, but walk-in services and primary care services, and have it covered through the insurance, because that's the key.
Absolutely.
The key is getting your walk-in patients covered through what they call the urgent care, because most of you know, like healthy kids, if the doctor isn't available, they tell you go to the closest urgent care center. So to get that insurance coverage, you have to be able to bill on that code, and so,
But you gotta remember that the rural healthcare clinic gets a higher rate of reimbursement.
yes.
That's the whole thing, to help generate more revenue
Revenue, yes.
for the overall
So,
system.
but that's what he said at the meeting, I mean.
I'm gonna leave it alone for
I'll look
now,
through
because
the
I don't
minutes,
want.
but I'm sure that's what he said at the meeting. They
But,
just-
but Carabel Clinic is supposed to be considered to start with the rural health care
They should have both been considered.
clinic. Well, I mean,
thought that's what-
but the clinic over in Carabel got started first, that's what I'm trying to say, before Weems did, we did Weems Clinic over here. Carabel Clinic should have been considered to start with a
Yeah.
long time
Well,
ago.
he said West has been approved first of this year, and then he started the process for East, this first of this year.
Anyway.
That's what he said, if that
That
answers your
answers my
We
question,
ain't gonna
yes.
solve it today.
That answers my question. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other commissioner comment?
I'd like to make a comment if I could, Mr. Chairman. Before I say this comment, I will refer to an analogy I gave Mr. Morone a couple of weeks ago. So Michael, every time you walk into somebody's house, we all have the same stovetop, because you only could fit so many things up there. So this is not an effort to put more up there, this is just informational. The other day, Attorney Schuler and I and some other people in the county were able to go to the airport workshop, chapter 333. From what I gathered, and you can feel free to fill in for me anything I say or miss, the way they were stating it from FDOT is they are neither going to accept or reject any zoning code, zoning thing we pass for our airport. They just need to receive them. That's the legal requirement. There was some discussion, there was actually a set of ordinances, one to do with height restrictions, one to do with permitting of things around our airport. The only reason I just want to make sure, you know, all of us weren't at the meeting, so I'm just trying to share what we learned. That being said, it's not something I think we need to do tomorrow, but it is something we need to do. So,
I met with them ahead of y'all's meeting,
Yeah.
and one concern they had was the height stuff.
yeah,
I said, we can look at, putting something in place where you can't put a cell tower
Right.
within so many miles of the airport, which is a height.
right.
But then they started talking about cutting trees out of people's yards, and I said, well, that's not gonna be so easy to do. But we can enact stuff to keep a cell tower from being put around the airport, you know, I mean, so there's certain things we can do, as you say, Commissioner Jones, that we can do, and there's certain things that
Yeah.
gonna be a lot harder
Well,
to
and two,
do.
the reason I mentioned, this is what I gathered from what was discussed that day at the workshop. Like I said, they're not either gonna approve or deny what we send them, they just need to have something on file. It's up for us as local government to address our issues.
Right,
You know what I mean? So-
and we can do that.
and
There's some things
just when
that
you
we can
read,
do.
if you're just reading it though, you're like, oh my gosh, how in the heck is this ever gonna work? But it made more sense with some of the discussion in the room, the
And-
fact that they leave it up to the individual government to
Yeah,
address.
and the discussion I had with them, I said, you know, this chapter 333 would be good if you're building a brand-new airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out in the middle of the woods like Panama City Airport or something, and you use all this to create all the zoning around that airport, and you're out in the middle, you know, you're 10 miles from the nearest house.
Right.
You can do that.
Right.
With a little airport like ours that went dormant for 20, 25 years, I used to shoot dove off the runways out there. There was no planes anywhere. And then all of a sudden it started coming back, and people had encroached there. There's no way you're gonna kick these people out of their house.
That's right.
Including me. I live about 500 yards from the airport runway, so I know all about this. But, you know, we just gotta all get along.
Yep.
And a lot of people that come down here with a lot of statements about what we can and should do with that airport, that's easy to say when you're not sitting right here
right.
representing the people.
That's right.
Represent the people you grew up with, people you've always known,
Yep.
and you're gonna go and kick these people out, tell them to cut the trees down out the yard. I don't think that's happening, not on my watch.
Right.
But we can get along, and like I told DOT, I've never had anybody complain about a plane coming in and a plane taking off, noise or anything else. Now, when they go round and round the house, about 12 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning, and people gotta get up and get the kids up to school and stuff, you get complaints. But as far as an airplane coming in, an airplane going out, never had the first complaint.
Right.
And I live as close as any of them. So, I mean, we gotta work together with this airport and our community, and we're gonna do that. We've always done that. And there's some things that you said that we can do to help appease, and keep those FTOD, dollars coming.
That's right.
But there's some things we just can't do. And in the real world, if we were building a new airport, we could accommodate all that. So, you know, that's kinda where I left it. And they seem to understand. Alan was in attendance with them, so
I mean, FDOT, right, this is a county airport, and the county is, you're in control of what we want to see that airport turn into. So if there are limitations that or issues that are coming up and we don't want to deal with, then the FDOT will accept that, and it may affect how the airport functions, but that's a decision for us to make as a community.
Movie, how much you gonna sell that wood for?
what would?
Firewood?
I ain't cutting nobody's trees. Ain't happening, Mr. Lockton. Any other commissioner comments?
Mr. Chairman, let me just add for the record, I just contacted Mr. Gray Dodge with DEO through an email, so we don't need to write a letter, and I copied Michael Morone on it, asking for an explanation of why the east end of the county was designated, not the western end.
So we're expecting a response?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I wanna know what the governor's reasoning was for it.
Yes, yes.
Love-
Yeah.
So Michael,
I asked for an explanation, and I copied him on the email.
when we get,
I'll forward it to you.
forward it to everybody. Any other commissioner comment?
You got anything to say, Winnie?
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.